This is Dead Body Society, and I got a story for you. This story is about one of the most infamous convicts that have ever lived, Thomas Silverstein, known as Terrible Tommy, a member of the Aryan Brotherhood. This guy established himself as one of the most respected and feared men in the U.S., and I make no qualms about saying that this guy was feared. He was feared because of his acts in prison. I'm going to start a series of videos about him, starting with his first murder in prison. The year is 1975. He is sent to prison for robbery. He is at San Quentin State Prison, where I spent 40 years of my life on death row. Tommy is there till 1977, and then he is transferred to Leavenworth U.S. Penitentiary, a federal penitentiary. And while he's there, he is already running with the AB. He is known as a member of the California crew, which involved a number of other Aryan Brotherhood members. So while he's there, he learns that the DC Blacks, which is a gang in the federal penitentiary system, is pressuring a white guy by the name of Danny Atwater. Danny Atwater is 32 years of age, and the DC Blacks have pressured him into bringing drugs to them. Danny convinces his girlfriend to bring those drugs inside of her body and then give them to him during their visits. The California crew, the Aryan Brotherhood, which Tommy Silverstein is a member of, catches wind of this. And at least in the California system, each race stays to themselves. You know, a black can't put pressure on a white inmate to do something because, of course, he'll have to answer to white gangs, or the white gang, which is the Aryan Brotherhood. And that's exactly what's happening here. So the members of the AB tell this guy, Danny Atwater, you know, you're going to bring the drugs in for us. Fuck them black dudes. You know, Danny Atwater's caught between a heart's place and a rock. He doesn't know what to do. So he refuses to bring in the drugs for the AB. The numbers of black inmates as opposed to white inmates in that prison that are members of the Aryan Brotherhood are very small. There's only 3 or 4 of them compared to the many DC Blacks that are at Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary. So Danny refuses, thinking he's picking the bigger, stronger car, being the DC Blacks. And that ends up not being the case. Danny Atwater one day is using the toilet. He's sitting down, very vulnerable position, and suddenly he is attacked. According to witnesses, Tommy Silverstein enters the cell with a 9-inch knife and brutally attacks Danny Atwater, stabbing him multiple times in the face, neck, chest, abdominal. He kills him right then and there, walks away. As Danny Atwater is dying, staff respond to the commotion. They get there, and with his last breath, Danny Atwater tells the correctional officers, Tommy, California crew did this. So the cops have no choice but to go get Tommy, and they arrest him, per se. They put him in a hole for it. And 2 other witnesses come forward saying that Terrible Tommy had mentioned he had done it. That conviction, because they do convict him of that murder, and they give him life without possibility of parole or life in federal penitentiary, because they at that time The death penalty wasn't an option. So Terrible Tommy's convicted. That conviction is later overturned, but his reputation as not only a member of the AB, the Aryan Brotherhood, but his respect, because get this correct, Tommy Silverstein is an extremely respected man in the federal penitentiary system and in California. He is a killer. He is respected because of his ability to kill people. Correctional officers hate him, but other convicts respect him. They hold him at high esteem because of his ability to make knives and kill and keep his word, basically. So in when this is happening, he is then transferred to Marion State Penitentiaries, U.S. Federal Penitentiary, where the worst of the worst inmates in the U.S. are housed. And that is where the story takes another twist, which we'll talk about in the next episodes. But this is an introduction to Terrible Tommy Silverstein, one of the most respected men in the Aryan Brotherhood, a man who ruled by fear and becomes a legend in the California and U.S. penitentiaries because he becomes the man that lives in the iron cage for decades because of his actions. So until next time, be safe. Be aware of your surroundings. Your life could depend on it. We'll see you next time.